Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back, Marriage, Money, and Mindset. We're your hosts. I'm Jared.
And I'm Alexis.
And welcome back to another week of Marriage, Money, and Mindset. We come to you every Monday at 5 p.m. dropping content on marriage, money, and mindset.
All right. If any of these videos are helpful to you, make sure to share them with a friend and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It does help boost our viewers.
Yeah. We're trying to get them subscribers up, guys. So, hey, to the existing subscribers, we appreciate y'all. If you're new watching this channel, please consider subscribing. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, and we surely appreciate it. So last week we did an episode 48. It was called Why Homeownership is the American Nightmare. So if you haven't checked that episode out, please go back and check it out.
That was honestly one of my favorite episodes.
It was a good one, guys. We just talked about basically, some of the things to consider when you're, if you're in the market to wanting to purchase a home. Just some things, pertaining to the equity being tied up in the home, things of that nature.
We did a lot of comparing with home ownership versus renting.
Home ownership versus renting and investing. Yeah. So it's a good episode. Please go back and check it out if you haven't. So we're going to keep that trend actually going this week. We still going to be we're going to continue to talk about real estate. So today's episode 49, is called Why Paying Off Your Home May Be a Bad Idea. Why paying off your home may be a bad idea.
Right.
So home ownership for most people, I would assume that most people that own a home, their goal is to eventually pay it off, right? Be debt free, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing I think that is an objective for homeowners. So today we're going to challenge that, like why doing that is potentially not the best strategy when we're talking about opportunity cost, things of that nature, right? We're going to dive more into it in this episode.
Yeah.
Before we start, what you think about paying off a home? Like, do you think it's a good goal? Is it?
I think that it's an idea that's given to us. So as society tells us that we need to do is pay off a home, buy a home, pay it off, get out of debt. Debt is seen as a bad thing.
Kind of like the conform thing being pushed out.
Yeah.
Well, for me, the answer is no, obviously, with what I know today. Now, at one point in my life, I thought that was a wise decision, by the way, guys. I'm not going to sit up here in front like I didn't think that was the thing to do, because I was one of those individuals at one point in time in my life. I said, well, let me add an extra payment to my principal so I can eliminate the mortgage as quickly as possible. I can save on interest. Those are the things going through most homeowners' mind when they're attempting to pay off their homes, expeditiously. That's the goal, is to save on interest.
Right. The thing with that is it's kind of like putting money underneath the mattress. Like it's money, it's dead money. It's not doing anything.
Well, you're retiring the dollars, guys.
Yeah, it's sitting in your home.
Yeah, it's going to be going into your home, right? So, okay, guys, so we're going to go into 6 reasons why some financial experts may advise against paying off your home in certain situations, right?
Okay.
So the first one I'll start it off for us is liquidity, right? So tying up a large amount of money in your home reduces your liquidity. This means you have less cash available for emergencies, investments, or other opportunities, right? Okay, so guys, look, when you make your monthly payments, like I explained it one time before on this channel, your monthly payment consists of usually 4 components that it on average goes to. So like, let's just take this for instance. This is your monthly payment. I've done this before on a previous episode. I'm just going to do it again. Let's just call it payment, right? So check this out, guys. Whenever you make your monthly payment, right, that's your payment, it's usually going into 4 different places, right? So you have your principal, your interest, your taxes, and your insurance. Now, the taxes and insurance is an escrow. Usually that goes in the form of an escrow. Your principal is technically a small percentage of that payment in the beginning, and that's your equity.
Right.
The interest is what goes to the bank. You might as well just say this is being thrown away, right? And this is what most people are trying to save on. Now, the problem with basically liquidity, you're basically a large amount of equity is being put into your home and being retired. We're retiring the dollars like we were talking about earlier. The money that's going in the form of principal into our home is being retired.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So, of course, the only way we can access this principal or equity is through a sale or a refinance of that property. And you're probably not going to do either one because you need a place to stay. You're not going to sell your home. And then, of course, you're not going to refinance because you're trying to eliminate interest.
Yeah.
So why would you restart the process all over, right?
The second one is opportunity costs. So the money used to pay off your mortgage might earn a higher return if invested elsewhere, such as the stock market or other investment vehicles. So basically, paying off your home is preventing you from that money going in other directions and other asset classes.
Yeah, I mean, you just basically you have a large chunk of money that you basically paid into your home that's now just sitting there not working for you,
Right.
right? On average, we discussed it on the last episode. On average, your home potentially could appreciate between 3 to 5% year over year. In comparison to like an S&P 500, I believe over the last 5 years we calculated it to be about 18%. So there's a huge, disproportion return on investment, when we look at it from that perspective.
Yeah.
So I mean, and again, guys, like owning a home isn't technically like building wealth. I mean, you're buying a home because it's somewhere you want to be. Like it's almost like an emotional thing to me. You have the mindset of just wanting to have, that home ownership. So it's one of them things, you're not really going into with the mindset of, I want to build wealth in my home. It's just a part of it just comes with the territory. Equity is going to be, basically retired. You know what I'm saying?
You're
so
storing that income.
Right.
It's not making money for you.
Yeah. So saying all that to say is, it does take away from opportunities, when you have so much of your net worth, quote unquote net worth, by the way, because most people don't qualify their home equity as part of their net worth. But net worth tied up into a home that you can't really, or you're not going to access. So, all right, so let's talk about the third reason some financial experts advise against paying off your home, which would be tax benefits. So mortgage interest is often tax deductible, which can reduce your taxable income. Paying off your mortgage eliminates this potential deduction. So like I mentioned earlier, so the interest that's paid, when you're filing your income taxes, if you do itemized deductions, well, you may be able to write off your interest, right?
Yeah.
So once you pay off your mortgage, well, you no longer have that tax expense or that tax deduction, right? Because you paid off your home. So, I mean, it's a small little thing. It's nothing big to brag about. I mean, yeah, my home's paid off, but I don't have the tax break anymore. It's not a huge benefit, guys. It's just something that the tax experts mentioned that could be one reason why you don't want to pay off your home. So let's talk about the fourth reason, inflation hedge.
Okay. A fixed rate mortgage can be an effective hedge against inflation. Over time, inflation erodes the real value of money you owe, making your fixed payments relatively cheaper.
Yeah, so now this is actually, I like this for investors, by the way, not so much for homeowners, because I'm going to tell you why. Like, let me see. Okay, so for instance, like I was actually doing this earlier today. I looked up what our current interest rates are on our rentals, and they range between 4.25%. These are fixed rates that we have. Well, some of them are adjustable rate, and then we also they range from 4.25% to 4.875.
Yeah.
Can you keep it down, please? 8.75%. Hey man, when I'm cooking, don't touch the kitchen, dog. Stay out the kitchen. Anyway, guys, so check this out. This same loan today that we have, I mean, the interest rates that we have locked on our properties today, well, now you're paying anywhere between 7 to 8%, right? On these same loans that if you were to go to the marketplace today or to the bank or credit union and attempt to get financing for commercial lending, you're almost talking a 100% increase. Right. So again, like this is hedging inflation, right? So if you're in the market today to buy a home, it's the same thing outside of commercial lending too, by the way. I think last week we said the median 30-year interest rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage is 6.09%. Remember, something like that. It's the same thing, guys. People that are in the market today shopping for homes are going to be paying a premium on their interest rate in comparison to people who maybe purchased 3 to 4 years ago during the pandemic, when the rates were pretty much like 3%.
Same thing with tapping into your equity if you're doing a refinance. you're refinancing it at these newer
Yeah,
rates.
exactly. Yeah, be paying a premium, right? So, of course, having a fixed rate mortgage, it can be an effective hedge against inflation if it's fixed, meaning it's not an adjustable rate. And then, because like I said, over time, inflation erodes the real value of money you owe. So, but I was just pointing that out. You know what I'm saying? It's a benefit when we're talking about trying to hedge against inflation, right? All right, so let's go into the fifth reason, guys. Interest rates. So if you have a low interest mortgage, the cost of borrowing is relatively cheap. Investing your money in assets with higher returns can be more advantageous. So, if you have like just literally what I just said, if you're paying a higher interest rate, well, that money could be better used in the stock market, cryptocurrency, somewhere else where you could generate a potential higher return than what you're, giving in to the lender, right? All right, so the last one, talk about it, diversification.
Okay. Diversification. Keeping a mortgage and investing elsewhere can help diversify your financial portfolio, spreading your risks across different asset types. While these points highlight potential disadvantage, the decision to pay off a mortgage depends on an individual's financial situations, goals, and risk tolerance.
Well, we talking. It says keeping a mortgage and investing elsewhere. That's what we talked about last week,
Right.
on last week's episode. The differences between home ownership and renting and investing. That's literally what that's talking about. Like the money that's going into your home or to the interest, rather, that could be invested elsewhere, or that could be your rent, and then the principal could be what you invest. See what I'm saying? So, sometimes, like I said, a mortgage. Would you define it as pay and sell debt? At the beginning of the episode last week. Yeah, that's what most people are doing. They're paying on a house till they die because they never really pay them off. A lot of people don't end up paying off their homes. And then again, even paying off the home is not the wisest thing to do, in my opinion, right?
That's what we're talking about.
Exactly. So a lot of people think once they pay off their home, I'm done, I'm free, I don't have any more expenses, I'm good.
And
No,
you
that's
own it
not the case.
outright.
Yeah, I own it outright. That's not the case, right?
Yeah.
So even after paying off your home, there are still at least eight ongoing expenses to consider. So we have property taxes. Let's talk about that for a second. So homeowners are required to pay property taxes annually or semi-annually. The amount can vary significantly based on the location and assessed value of the property. So on average, property taxes, they usually go up. You know what I'm saying? Property taxes. As long as I've owned real estate, every year for the most part, they've increased, right? In some instances, it may be up pretty significantly. In some instances, not so much. But at the end of the day, that's your real landlord, guys. If you own a house, you're going to be paying that county those taxes as long as you own it for the remainder of the duration of how long you own that property. So you're going to be required to pay those property taxes. If you fail to pay those property taxes, they're going to show you who really owns that house, right?
The second one is insurance. So anytime you own a home, you're going to want to protect that home. So you're protecting it against damage, loss due to fire, theft, or natural disasters. So you typically pay your insurance on your home monthly or annually.
Yeah, but also one more thing you want to protect is that equity. So yeah, you guys, if you have a home that's paid off 100%, you don't have insurance on it, a natural disaster comes through, wipes it out, damages it significantly. If you didn't have insurance in place, that equity is definitely at risk, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So third ongoing expense that we want to talk about is maintenance and repairs. So, regular upkeep is needed to maintain the home's condition. This includes things like plumbing, electrical work, roof repairs, painting, and general wear and tear. So, of course, guys, you the owner is responsible for anything in the home maintenance wise, right? Repairs are going to be ongoing as well when you have home ownership. Your HVAC goes out versus renting, of course, where things like that occur, you just make a phone call to your property manager and they'll take care of it for you, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about the fourth ongoing expense.
The fourth one is utilities. So things like water, electricity, gas, internet, things like that. So those are just ongoing expenses that you're going to have to pay for if you're living in the house.
Yeah, I mean, you can have that regardless, whether you
Exactly.
own or rent. I mean, again, guys, we're just mentioning some of the expenses that's going to be
Keep going.
ongoing because these are all components of owning the home ownership, by the way.
Yeah.
So, and then like I said earlier on the last episode, these are all things you have to take into consideration if you sell your home. Add this into that cost base because this is a part of it, right? Because a lot of people think when they sell their house, they made money. No, you recoup money, right? All right, so the fifth ongoing expense is HOA fees. If your home is a part of a homeowners association, you'll need to continue paying HOA fees for the community maintenance and amenities. So, of course, if you're in a subdivision, there's HOA, and that can also be an expense that, on average, increases in value, right? Something else to take into consideration. But anyway.
Okay,
All right, so
this next one is almost like another utility.
Yeah.
Pest control and landscaping. So that's something that you have to keep up to date. Yeah, making sure that your home is sprayed for pests or whatever.
And then lawn care, of course.
Yeah, keep that lawn up, especially in Southeast Texas. You know all about that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, these yards, they grow fast in the summertime. Yeah, guys, so these, again, now that's what I was going to say. When you're renting, most of the time, this may not even be an expense, depending on, what type of setup you got going on that you're renting. All right, so the seventh one is home improvements. Periodic updates or improvements, such as renovating the kitchen, adding a new deck, can be significant expenses. And that's one thing I was going to mention while we're on this real quick, home improvements. One thing I've noticed, a lot of people, when they do realize that they have quite a bit of equity in their homes, they'll go back to the bank. They get sold on this idea of improving their home.
Right.
So they'll tap back into their equity just to refinance the equity. Take the equity and then put it into their home projects.
Right.
So that's really not smart either. You know what I'm saying? To me, like, I just, if you're going to take equity out, invest it, man.
Yeah.
Make the money, make money, not put it back in your home, improve the home, and the home value doesn't really increase at all.
Exactly.
But again, to each his own. So there's and one more
the last one
expense.
is
talk about it.
Security. So if you have a security system, you're gonna pay for that ongoing monitoring.
Right.
The fees associated with that.
Yeah. So while paying off a mortgage early, guys, can provide a peace of mind and reduce monthly expenses, it's essential to weigh these potential disadvantages against your financial goals and situations. So all you're really doing, I always like to say this analogy is like skinning a cat. When you pay off your home, all you're doing is eliminating the interest, and you're retiring your equity. So you're retiring your equity, you're paying off the interest, you're done paying interest to the lender. And you still have these two as ongoing expenses as well, taxes and insurance.
Right.
So all I really did was eliminate this, the interest. I still have this. This is now retired.
Yeah, it's locked up.
It's locked up. Yeah, put a little lock here. I'm trying to draw a lock. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So you're locking up to your equity. This is locked up.
Yeah.
You're eliminating interest. And you still have taxes to pay and insurance to pay. So all you've done, guys, is just skin the cat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Some people have an idea that once their home is paid off, they're eliminating that expense, like as if it's one expense.
But this is the reality.
Really, you're just lowering your expense.
Yeah, you've just lowered it. Yeah.
You still have expenses. So
exactly. So
if you're gonna have expenses anyways,
right,
then maybe home ownership is not. Or paying off your home is not the wisest thing to do.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, like, again, even owning a home, is that even the smartest thing to do in most cases, right?
Yeah, that's what I keep going back to.
Yeah, it just it goes back full circle to that. You know what I'm saying? So, again, guys, look, man, we're not telling you again what to do. We're not telling you don't buy a house, rent.
Just things to consider. When you know better, you do better.
Yeah, that's all we're saying, man. Just think of other ways that maybe you could take advantage of instead of locking up equity, that you could put it to work. You know what I'm saying? Because again, a home isn't going to take care of you post-retirement, but investments will, real investments. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I pretty much got for today, guys. Les Hershey got some more. Anything else you want to elaborate on?
No, I think that's all.
Yeah, man. All right, guys. So, hey, come back next week, man. We probably got one more pertaining to real estate that we discussed doing. We'll probably touch on that topic one more time next week. So, hey, if you like these topics, let us know in the comments below. Let us know what you think. Share this with someone that you may know who's considering buying a home, or if they're already in a home, maybe this is something you could send them to, kind of let them, see a different perspective on why paying off the house may not be the wisest thing to do.
Right.
And then also maybe while owning the house probably isn't the wisest thing to do. You know, send them that episode we did before this one, right? Yeah, man. So anything else? You good? All right, man. Hey, so we appreciate y'all tuning in. Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all come back next Monday at 5 p.m. Lock us in. And hey, y'all have a great week. Until then, y'all take care.
Peace.